Welcome to today's deep dive,
Yeah.
where we're going to be unpacking
Hmm.
Selena Gomez's conversation about her mental health journey.
Really honest and insightful conversation.
Oh yeah, and it's from her interview with Jay Shetty
Okay.
on the On Purpose YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And her mom, Mandy is there too.
Oh, wow.
So we get like this really
Yeah.
personal, multi-generational look at mental wellness.
It's interesting that right away,
Hmm.
Selena reveals
Yeah.
that she had her first suicide attempt
Oh yeah.
at just 7 years old.
I know.
7 years old.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah. Like, it really makes you think about early
Yeah.
intervention.
Totally. And I think for a lot of us,
Yeah.
Selena opening up about her bipolar diagnosis is huge. She
Yeah.
talks about wanting to make it her friend.
That phrase stuck with me, making it her friend.
I know.
Really smart way to think about managing bipolar disorder.
Yeah.
It reminds me of cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT.
CBT.
Where you kind of identify your thought patterns and
Totally.
behaviors,
Totally.
even if you don't have bipolar disorder.
Right.
Recognizing those triggers can be so powerful.
When, like, she's saying, okay, this is a part of me, but I'm going to understand it
Yeah,
and work with it.
totally.
And that kind of ties into her decision to release that documentary, My Mind and Me.
Yeah.
Which
she admits was really tough
I know.
because it's so raw and real.
Yeah.
I mean, that vulnerability,
Yeah.
especially when you're in the public eye,
Right.
it's incredible.
Totally.
Studies actually show that being vulnerable can help you grow personally
Oh, wow.
and connect with others
Interesting.
just by being so open. Selena might inadvertently be giving others the courage to be vulnerable, too.
For sure. And I think watching that documentary was so emotional,
Yeah.
but I felt like I understood her so much better afterward.
Right.
And having Mandy in the interview adds a whole other layer,
It does.
especially when she talks about how hard it was for her to even watch the documentary.
That reaction from Mandy really makes you think about how different was it for her
Yeah.
compared to Selena's experience with therapy today.
Right.
Mandy became a mother at 16
Yeah.
and had to figure out a lot of this on her own.
And you really do see that generational difference
You do.
in how they approach mental health.
Yeah.
Mandy talks about discovering therapy on her own,
Right.
which makes today's resources seem even more valuable.
It does.
It shows how far we've come with being open about these conversations.
Yeah.
I know some people still struggle with the cost of therapy
That's true.
or being judged.
Yeah. But there are more options now than ever before.
Yeah.
There's traditional therapy, of course,
Right.
but also things like CBT,
Yeah.
dialectical behavior therapy,
Okay.
which focuses on emotional regulation, and even online therapy platforms,
Right.
which can be more affordable.
That's a good point.
So don't let those barriers stop you.
Yeah.
Selena's story really drives home that asking for help is okay.
Okay, so now let's dive into Wondermind,
Okay.
the platform that Selena and Mandy created. It's like this hub of resources and community for mental health.
And it speaks to how technology can bridge those gaps
Yeah.
in traditional mental health support.
I know.
It's something we're seeing more and more these days.
Yeah.
They're building a whole online ecosystem where people can connect and find resources
Right.
that fit their needs and budgets.
It's clear that this is deeply personal for both of them. They've turned their experiences into something so positive and empowering.
Yeah,
It's really inspiring.
it is. And it really highlights the power of turning personal struggles into something that can help others.
Yeah.
And speaking of personal growth, Selena has talked a lot about her evolving definition of success.
Okay.
How it's less about external validation now and more about being just enough.
That resonated with me so much.
Yeah.
Like in a world where we're constantly told that we need to achieve more, be more, have more.
Yeah.
She's saying it's okay to just be present and find fulfillment in who you are.
Right now.
Yeah.
And that shift in mindset,
Yeah.
especially for someone like Selena, it's incredible.
Totally.
We live in a culture that thrives on comparison,
Right.
but defining success on your own terms,
Yeah.
prioritizing self-acceptance,
Yeah.
that's true freedom.
It makes me think about something else she said in the interview about the worst advice she'd ever received regarding mental health. Someone told her to just stop having bad thoughts.
Oh, gosh.
It's like, come on.
Right.
It's not that simple.
That's a perfect example of what we call toxic positivity.
Yeah.
This idea that you should just suppress
Right.
or deny any negative emotions, which is incredibly unhealthy.
Totally.
It's important to acknowledge and
Yeah.
process all your emotions, even the difficult ones.
And Mandy shared that she was told that her mental health struggles were all in her head and that she could just control it.
Wow. Like, wow.
Those kinds of comments just minimize the very real struggles people face.
Oh, yeah.
It's important to remember that mental health challenges are not a sign of weakness.
For sure.
And they often require professional support and compassion.
Yeah.
Not dismissive advice.
Okay, so speaking of support,
Okay.
the way Selena and Mandy talk about their relationship is so powerful.
It is.
It's clearly a strong bond.
Yeah.
But they've also had to navigate their fair share of challenges, especially as Selena has journeyed through her mental health.
It really highlights
how even the closest relationships can be impacted by mental health.
Right.
It requires open communication, understanding, and a willingness to adapt and grow together.
And you really see that evolution in their relationship throughout the interview. Yeah. They talk about learning to communicate more effectively, about respecting each other's needs and boundaries, and how their work with Wondermind has actually brought them closer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful example of how finding a shared purpose, especially one rooted in helping others, can strengthen a relationship and lead to healing and growth.
And it reminds us that even amidst challenges, relationships can evolve.
They can.
And become even stronger through shared experiences and open communication.
Absolutely.
Now, one aspect of Selena's story that I found incredibly powerful was her decision to take a break from social media. She talked about how it was so essential for her mental health and well-being.
That's something a lot of us can relate to.
Right.
Yeah.
Social media can be great for connecting, but it can also be a source of intense pressure.
Yeah.
Comparison. Negativity.
And it really underscores the importance of setting boundaries with technology.
Yeah.
We need to be mindful of how much time we're spending online and the impact it's having on our mental health.
Totally.
Sometimes disconnecting, even for a short period, can be incredibly restorative.
I agree.
It allows us to reconnect with ourselves, with our values, and with the things that truly matter.
And it gives us the space to focus on building a sense of self-worth that comes from within rather than seeking validation from external sources like social media.
I think it's inspiring that Selena was willing to prioritize her well-being even when it meant stepping away from something. It's so ingrained in our culture, and in her case, her career.
Totally.
It sends a powerful message.
It does.
That our mental health should always come first.
Absolutely.
And it reminds us that we have the power to choose what we allow into our lives, both online and offline.
Okay, now let's talk about something a little more personal. Selena's incredibly open about her experience with suicidal thoughts.
Right.
Which is a topic that's often difficult to talk about.
It's so important that she's willing to share those experiences.
Yeah.
Because it helps to break down that stigma surrounding mental health and suicide.
For sure.
It shows people who are struggling that they're not alone and that there's hope.
It's a powerful reminder that mental health challenges can affect anyone, regardless of their age, background, or level of success.
And it underscores the need
it
for accessible mental health resources and creating a culture where people feel comfortable talking about their struggles and seeking help.
Absolutely.
I think it's also important to point out that Selena is incredibly candid about how she manages her bipolar disorder.
Okay.
She talks about learning to understand her triggers, her moods, and developing coping mechanisms that work for her.
And that sense of agency is incredibly empowering.
It is.
It reminds us that we have choices.
We do.
And that we can actively participate in our own healing and growth.
Absolutely.
Now, one of the things that struck me most about Selena's story was how she describes her evolving relationship with fame.
Oh, interesting.
Because on the surface, it seems like fame would solve so many problems. But she talks about feeling trapped by this need to maintain a perfect image.
Right.
Especially in her early years.
It sheds light on the immense pressure that comes with being in the public eye.
Right.
especially for young people.
Totally.
And it reminds us that even those who seem to have it all can struggle with insecurity, self-doubt, and the weight of external expectations.
And it's not just celebrities who face those pressures, right?
Right.
We all live in a culture
They do.
that often values outward appearances and achievements over inner peace and authenticity.
Or constantly bombarded with messages about what we should be doing, how we should look, and what we should achieve.
Yeah, it can be really easy to get caught up in the comparison game and lose sight of our own values and priorities.
But Selena's story reminds us.
It does.
That true fulfillment comes from within.
Yeah.
From aligning our lives with what truly matters to us.
Yeah. Oh, I have to admit, I was pretty blown away by Mandy's honesty in this interview. She talks about becoming a mom at 16 and having to navigate a lot of those early parenting challenges on her own.
That had to be incredibly tough.
Yeah.
It gives us such valuable insight into the context of Selena's upbringing and how their family approached mental health.
And it also highlights the strength and resilience of both Selena and Mandy. They face some incredibly difficult situations, but they've continued to support each other, to learn and grow, and to find ways to heal and thrive.
What's also refreshing is how Mandy talks about her own experience with therapy.
Right.
She encourages others to seek help, emphasizing that it's a sign of strength, not weakness.
Totally.
It's especially important for parents to hear that message.
I agree.
Because we often feel the pressure to have all the answers and to fix things for our children.
It's so true.
It's easy to get caught up in that super parent mentality.
Right.
But the reality is we're all learning and growing along the way, and there's no shame in asking for help and support.
Totally.
When we need it.
In fact, seeking help, whether it's for ourselves or for our children, models a healthy approach to mental well-being.
It does.
It shows that it's okay to not have all the answers.
Right.
And that seeking support is a sign of self-awareness and a commitment to our own growth.
And that message is so important, especially for young people who might be struggling and feeling alone. Seeing someone like Mandy, a parent, talk about therapy in a positive light can really help break down those stigmas and encourage those who need help to reach out.
It also reminds us that we don't parent in a vacuum.
We don't.
Our own experiences, both positive and negative, shape how we approach parenting. And how our children learn to navigate the world.
For sure.
By taking care of our own mental health.
Yeah.
We're creating a healthier and more supportive environment for our children to thrive.
Now, one thing that I found incredibly relatable was when Selena talked about feeling pressure to maintain a perfect image, especially during her early years in the spotlight.
Right.
It's a feeling that resonates with a lot of us.
Yeah.
Even those of us who aren't famous.
For sure.
We live in a culture that often equates worth with external validation, with achievements, appearances, and social media likes.
It's so easy to get caught up in that cycle of comparison and feel like we're not good enough.
Yeah.
But Selena's story is a powerful reminder.
It is.
That our worth comes from within, not from external validation.
And it highlights the importance of defining success on our own terms.
Totally.
It's about asking ourselves,
Yeah.
what truly matters to me? What brings me joy and fulfillment?
Right.
And aligning our lives with those values rather than chasing after external markers of success that might not actually bring us happiness.
It's a shift in mindset where that can be incredibly liberating.
For sure.
And it's something that we can all cultivate regardless of our circumstances.
Absolutely.
It's about recognizing that we are enough just as we are.
Yeah.
And that true happiness comes from living a life that is authentic and meaningful to us.
You know, another thing that really struck me about this interview was how openly both Selena and Mandy talk about their experiences with treatment centers.
Oh, wow.
They both acknowledge that it can be a challenging experience, but they also emphasize the benefits and the importance of seeking professional help when we need it.
Their willingness to share those experiences is so important.
It is.
Because it helps to destigmatize seeking mental health treatment.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, the idea of going to a treatment center can feel scary or intimidating.
It can.
But hearing Selena and Mandy talk about their experiences in such a candid and relatable way can help to normalize it.
You can.
And encourage others who might be struggling to reach out for support.
And it's a reminder that seeking professional help is not a sign of weakness, but rather a sign of strength and a commitment to our well-being.
Now, throughout this interview, both Selena and Mandy talk about the importance of faith and spirituality in their lives. They both describe how their faith has provided comfort, strength, and guidance during difficult times.
Faith and spirituality can be incredibly powerful sources of resilience and support, especially when we're facing challenges.
It's not about subscribing to any specific religion or belief system. It's about finding what resonates with you personally and what helps you to connect with something larger than yourself, whether it's through prayer, meditation, nature, or acts of service. Cultivating a sense of spirituality can be incredibly empowering and a supportive practice.
Now, something that really resonated with me was when Selena talked about her experience with suicidal thoughts. It's a topic that's often taboo, but it's so important to talk about it openly and honestly.
For sure.
It helps to destigmatize these experiences and to let people know that they're not alone. Suicidal thoughts are a sign of intense emotional pain. And there's something that should always be taken seriously.
It's a reminder that mental health challenges can affect anyone. And that seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness.
What's also striking is how Selena talks about learning to manage her bipolar disorder. She describes it as making it her friend.
Oh, like that.
By understanding her triggers and developing coping mechanisms.
It's a powerful way to reframe our relationship with mental health challenges. It's about recognizing that they are part of us, but they don't have to define us.
Absolutely.
It's about finding ways to live with them and to create a life that feels balanced and fulfilling, even amidst the challenges.
Now, one of the key takeaways from this interview is the importance of vulnerability. Both Selena and Mandy speak openly about their struggles, their fears, and their journey to healing. Vulnerability is often seen as a weakness.
It is.
But it's actually a sign of tremendous strength. It's about being willing to show up authentically, to let our guard down, to connect with others on a deeper level.
It's about recognizing that we're all human, that we all have imperfections, and that we all struggle at times.
For sure.
And it's about having the courage to share our stories, even the difficult ones.
By sharing our vulnerabilities, we create space for others to do the same.
Totally.
We break down the walls of isolation and shame, and we build bridges of empathy and understanding.
You know, one thing that I found really inspiring was the way Selena talked about her evolving definition of success. She's shifted away from external validation and the pressure to be perfect. And is now focused on personal fulfillment. And what she calls being just enough.
It's a powerful message. Particularly in today's culture. That often emphasizes achievement, perfectionism, and comparison.
Totally.
It's about recognizing our inherent worth and value. Regardless of our accomplishments or what others think of us.
Totally.
And it's about finding joy and contentment in the present moment rather than constantly striving for something more.
It's a reminder that we are enough just as we are and that true success comes from living a life that aligns with our values and brings us meaning and purpose.
Now, one of the things that struck me most about Mandy's perspective was her willingness to acknowledge her own struggles. And to talk about the challenges of being a parent. Especially when your child is facing mental health challenges.
It's a reminder that parenting isn't always easy.
It's not.
And that it's okay to ask for help and support. It's also a testament to the power of learning and growing alongside our children.
What's so refreshing is how Mandy talks about therapy as a positive and empowering experience. She encourages others to seek help, emphasizing that it's not a sign of weakness, but rather a commitment to our well-being.
It helps to normalize seeking professional support.
It does.
For mental health challenges, which can be especially difficult for parents who often feel pressure to have all the answers. and to fix things for their children.
It's a reminder.
It is.
That we can't pour from an empty cup.
Right.
And that taking care of our own mental health is essential for being the best partners and people we can be.
Now, one of the most powerful moments in the interview is when Mandy talks about the emotional toll of watching Selena's documentary. She admits that it was hard to see her daughter go through those difficult times.
It really speaks to the deep love and empathy that parents feel for their children.
Right.
And it highlights the challenges that families often face when navigating mental health.
Yeah.
It's not always easy to watch someone you love struggle, even when you know they're getting the help they need.
It's a reminder that we all need to be patient and compassionate, both with ourselves and with our loved ones as we navigate these journeys.
Yeah.
Healing is a process, and it doesn't always happen in a straight line. There will be ups and downs, and that's okay.
And it's important to remember that we don't have to go through these challenges alone.
Right.
There are resources and support systems available, both for those who are struggling and for their families.
And speaking of support systems, one of the things I found incredibly inspiring about Selena and Mandy's story is how they've turned their personal experiences into a mission to help others through their work with Wondermind.
It's a beautiful example of how we can transform our pain into purpose and use our stories to create positive change in the world.
And it's a reminder that we all have the power to make a difference, even in small ways, whether it's sharing our stories, offering support to a friend, or advocating for mental health awareness. We can all contribute to creating a world where mental health is valued, supported, and prioritized. It's incredible to see how they've channeled their experiences into something so positive and impactful.
It is.
And speaking of impact, one of the things that really struck me was Selena's philosophy of just enough. It's about letting go of the need to be perfect and finding contentment in simplicity and authenticity.
It's such a powerful message.
I know.
Especially in a world that often bombards us with these unrealistic expectations and pressures to achieve, acquire, and constantly strive for more.
You know, I used to think self-care was selfish.
Oh, really?
Until I realized that taking care of myself actually allowed me to show up better for others.
Interesting.
And I think that's what Selena's getting at with this whole just enough idea. It's about recognizing our inherent worth. And finding peace with who we are right here, right now.
Exactly. It's about challenging those societal messages that tell us we're not enough unless we're constantly striving, achieving.
Giving ourselves permission to slow down, to simplify, and to find joy in the present moment.
And it's not about settling or lowering our standards. It's about redefining success on our own terms and prioritizing what truly matters to us.
And, you know, it's interesting because Selena talks about how this shift in mindset has allowed her to be more present in her relationships and to connect with people on a deeper level.
That's one of the beautiful things about letting go of perfectionism.
It creates space. With genuine connection and vulnerability.
It's like when we're not so caught up in trying to be perfect, we can actually relax and be ourselves. Which allows others to do the same.
Totally.
And that's where true intimacy and connection happen.
Now, I have to say, I was really moved by Mandy's openness about her own experiences with mental health. Especially as a young mother.
It's so important for parents to hear those kinds of stories. It helps to break down the stigma and shame that often surrounds mental health. Particularly for moms who are often expected to have it all together.
I think it's also really validating for those of us who have had difficult experiences in our own families of origin. It shows that we're not alone.
We're not.
And that healing is possible.
Absolutely.
And it highlights the importance of intergenerational healing. By working through our own challenges and seeking support, we can break those cycles and create a healthier, more supportive environment for ourselves and for future generations.
It's a beautiful reminder that we all have the power to create positive change, both in our own lives and in the lives of those around us.
Well, I think this deep dive into Selena Gomez's interview has been incredibly insightful and inspiring.
It has.
It's a powerful reminder that mental health is a journey.
It is.
Not a destination.
And that it's okay to not be okay.
Yes.
We all struggle at times, and seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness.
Selena and Mandy's story is a testament to the power of vulnerability, resilience, and the importance of finding your voice and using it to advocate for yourself and for others.
And it's a call to action for all of us to prioritize our mental well-being, to seek support when we need it, and to create a world where mental health is valued, supported, and destigmatized.
So as you move forward from this deep dive, we encourage you to reflect on what resonated with you most, and to consider what small step you can take today to nurture your own mental health or to support someone else who might be struggling.
Remember, every act of kindness, every conversation, every step towards healing makes a difference. We're all in this together.
We are.
And we can create a world where everyone feels seen, heard, and supported.